Going to be sharing with you guys how I started my first business at 19, because I think that those crucial lessons and the things that I learned along the way have really kind of pioneered to the person that I am right now and all the businesses that I've run and entirely my whole business journey. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new, welcome to the channel. My name is Michelle Expert and I'm your go-to person in all things sales, entrepreneurship and transformation. It feels so good to be back. If you watched my last video, you know what was happening, and now that I'm back, I'm really excited to kind of give you guys all the juicy, the value, the transformation, the sales and the entrepreneurship tips. And I know that you guys love it. If you are new to this channel, hello. Click subscribe because it helps our community grow. So on today's video, I thought it would be such an important thing to kind of kick off this video by sharing with you guys a bit of my journey. If you're a day one, you probably know some of this already, but I have a whole lot of new people that have joined this community. And today I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I started my first business at 19, because I think that those crucial lessons and the things that I learned along the way have really kind of pioneered to the person that I am right now and all the businesses that I've run and entirely my whole business journey. So I'm looking forward to it. Now, let's just kickstart the conversation right away. For those that don't know, I started my first business at 19, and it's really where the kind of buzz in me building my personal brand was, because at the time, there was a lot of talks around young entrepreneurs, and I was one of them at that moment. So I was currently working full-time as a wedding and events coordinator at a wedding venue, and I fell in love with putting together events and doing weddings, and I thought to myself, how can I expand and create this as a business? The great advantage at that time, to be honest, is that the person that I worked for was somebody that was really interested in empowering people to do more than just work for her. So after a bit of time, I decided that I would do a wedding planning course so that I can upskill myself and be an expert in the industry. There actually are a couple of people that I know right now within the circle of influencing and creators that I met because I was a wedding planner and I wanted to do the events. So funny. But anyway, I go and I do a wedding planning course. And right after I do that wedding planning course, halfway through, classic me, I felt that, okay, now I know what I'm talking about. I know what's going on. So I launched my very first business. I started my company as a wedding planner. Now, the best advantage for me with that is, number one, I've always been a go-getter, so I was really kind of out there to get it and out there to get clients. So I started getting clients halfway through my course before I finished it, and that's how the business kind of started getting on the ground. And because the business was running, quite a bit of ching-ching was coming through, which really kind of changed my lifestyle, not in such a major way because it was really a small business, but in a better way. I could save up for a car, I could contribute at home a lot more, and I just started enjoying the life that I was living at that time. But I started my business started doing very well, and I continued to market that business to grow. Where I am right now, that business currently doesn't exist. It's phased itself into something differently. But I share that experience with you because I want you guys to realize that we all start somewhere. I think a lot of people are kind of stuck in trying to find their it thing, trying to find their niche, trying to find their big business that's going to make them millions. And I always say to people, it doesn't always start like that. Sometimes you will start with something that is completely different than what you're going to end up doing. Like right now, I would not do events. Right now, I don't want to plan weddings. I don't want to do flowers. I don't want to do any of those things. But at that time, I loved it. And it is something that I was very passionate about and I was making money on. And that, by virtue of starting that, it became a progression of a lot of other things that I was doing. So what are the key lessons from this little story that I'm sharing with you? The first one is, if you identify something that you are gravitating towards, invest in yourself by upskilling yourself. So if you're currently in a situation where it's photography, it's maybe cooking or whatever the case is, it might be the it thing, it might not be the it thing, but start taking courses around it so you can upskill yourself, because that way you become an expert in whatever it is that you're doing, and then you can start getting clients. Now, when you upskill yourself, you get a lot of confidence around what you're doing because you kind of know the industry insights and the fields that you are interested in, and that confidence will help you actually go to the market. Second tip is that when you get into the market, you have to get clients. I always say that it's only business when there's clients coming in. So after you've upskilled yourself, well, in my case, while I was upskilling myself, child, I went and I started getting clients, okay? You get clients and you start transacting with people because, yes, you can have the information, but you'll become a greater expert if you actually in the industry and you are learning more, you are doing more, and you actually practicing what you're saying that you want to do, which is very, very important, okay? So those two things are important. But the third lesson I want to teach you was basically to the downfall of that business. Now, one of the biggest things biggest mistakes rather, because I want to be very brutal about this, the biggest mistake that I made with that business is that I prepared for failure more than I prepared for success. So because I saw myself as a small business, I thought to myself, maybe the business is going to grow over a year, over two, whatever the case is. And then the business took off a little too quickly, which was like a big shocker. And I didn't know what to do. So what ended up happening is I started just focusing on other things and not entirely focusing on growing the business. And now that I look back, actually, I'm always like, maybe if I had grown the business, it would have grown to become something really big because it was doing very well. Now, when you have a business that starts, it's important that, of course, you have to have a plan B should this business fail. I think it's a very important thing to do outside of fake positivity. But also, what if things really, really work out? Like, what if you launch today and 10,000 people buy from you and you're only expecting 100? Do you have some form of a net or some form of help that would be able to come and show up to the level that the market has now said that they want what you're offering? That is something that is very important. It's something that I think I apply now in every business that I run, which really kind of helps me in everything that I do is, what if you succeed? Because for me, when I succeeded, my success was basically to my demise. Because when I succeeded in that business, what then ended up happening is that was basically setting me up for failure because I wasn't ready for that. And the other thing, and I think I shared this on a podcast I recently did with Label Lion, which I think would be my fourth tip, is don't believe the hype too soon. My other thing also was that when the business launched and everything went well, I started doing events with very prominent people in the media. And then word goes out, Joburg is a very small place in South Africa, and you start getting interviewed, you start getting radio interviews, you start getting podcast interviews, you start getting TV interviews, you start getting all these PR opportunities that are great and really do well to the business. But because we like validation, we like being in spaces like that, I ended up gravitating towards the speaking engagements and kind of believing the hype too soon. But maybe when I look back now, it's actually not believing the hype too soon. I think I knew that subconsciously knew that this is the kind of direction that I eventually wanted to take. But I do know that when you don't have a right strategy, it takes you away from the things that you want to do. So I started enjoying more the podcast. I started enjoying more the content part. I started enjoying the TV interviews a lot more. And that took me away from the business. So when the business was demanding more of me, I couldn't give that because I was busy with this thing that gave me the validation. And what a lot of people don't really understand about entrepreneurship is that because you're an entrepreneur, you're the visionary of the business, we rarely get validation. Like, we really, really get validation. And when you get that radio interview, when you get that TV interview, that TV interview becomes the validation for you. And once you then get that validation, you become an addict because that's what you always want. Because something about that says that you're doing well. You get invited to this TV interview and they say, oh my God, we've got the one and only extraordinary Michelle Expert who's done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is so good for your ego. It boosts you. It makes you feel a bit more confident. It makes you feel like I've arrived and this is where I am. When in really true formality, you haven't. And you are really still in the building phase. So it's important that you have direction in your business. It's something that I've been very cognizant of right now, where I'm in the flow of building my business and I've had to decline a lot of speaking gigs. I've had to decline a lot of engagements, a lot of interviews because I don't want to prematurely get into a public space that could afford me better opportunities, but I get in there prematurely and then it just takes me away from the business that I actually want to build. So those are the tips that I really want to share with you. The first thing is if you find something that is important to you, something that you're gravitating towards, invest in yourself by upskilling yourself. And then number 2, go into the market. Get your first clients. By the virtue of you upskilling yourself, you're basically going to start being a bit more confident in what you do. And that way you go and you get your client. Once you begin to get your clients, prepare for success more than you prepare for failure. Market your business. Don't believe the hype. But I'm hoping that this little story, this little blurb I'm just sharing with you guys right now is going to inspire you to start wherever you are. You will never find the thing for you. The thing will find you in your journey, but you have to start the journey. And sometimes a lot of people sit around and they overthink the businesses that they want to start. They overthink posting on social media. They overthink starting that brand. But I'm just here to let you guys know that you don't have to overthink anything. If you have an idea right now, right after watching this video, you go and execute. Is it the thing you're going to be doing 5 years later? We don't know. But what you know today, you're going to do. With that said, I hope that this video was valuable. Have yourself a beautiful one. If you're not subscribed to the channel, definitely do that. If you liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comment section, where are you right now in your business journey? I want to be creating lots of content that is going to be helpful to you, that's going to help you in your business, in your sales, and transform your mindset. So let me know where you are and I can find ways that we can build this community and actually help each other. And one more thing, if you've been part of this community or you follow me on Instagram and TikTok, you know that we recently launched a Salespreneur Club, which is basically a private members club for you guys where you get to join. You also will be getting free content in the members club, so go ahead and sign up. The link is in my bio, and I'm also going to leave the link right here if you're interested. We do a lot of monthly webinars. We do have resources and tools that are going to help you in your business and your sales, and we've got private events that only you get invited to, so go ahead and join. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Bye.